What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp. It is August 27th, 2021. This is your Fightful post AEW Rampage Smackdown review. If you're watching on youtube.com/Fightful Live, go over to our comments section. We've got a bit of a poll running right now to find out if you guys want us to do these shows combined, if you want me to separate them and just do them back to back. The choice is yours. We'll go with really whatever I want, but I'm at least taking your feedback.
Do I have a say in this, Sean?
No, you're not on the show anymore. Jeremy is being bid adieu. He's passing the torch to Kate Hensler, who's down there. But as everybody knows, Jeremy, the Ultimate Kate may be winning. They're going to be watching Lambert Mania going up the ramp on the way out. That's just the way it goes.
I'm not putting anybody over. Are you kidding me? I'm not putting
I love
anyone
it.
over.
Will you put over this birthday gift that I got?
That's very. Oh my God! It's two Fightful legends right there.
Two Fightful
That's
legends.
Tremendous. Yeah.
He Nikita Krylov fan is IRL best friend number 2 because Hannah will kill me, but that's our mod, Share Delaware. But he's appeared on, I think, maybe one thing Fightful. Maybe when I move, it'll get a little easier to do stuff. But my God, guys, follow Kate, follow Jeremy. You're going to be seeing a lot more of Kate over the next week and a half.
Don't follow me. I'm getting in trouble with people not following
Hey, listen. If you don't like me, you can block Kate. That's a popular thing to do these days. You can do that. There's so many options on social media, but there are also options if you're watching live. Leave a thumbs up. Hannah, you are number 1. You're a number 2 to most people, but you're number 1 to me. And donate a super chat. That gets your question or statement read on the air. It would mean an awful lot. Matt Reichel says, great night of wrestling. Watching this review with Sean, Jeremy, and Kate. Thoughts on Danielson's story floating around? If you've watched any of my shows lately, you've probably noticed some hints, and that's as far as I'll go about that because I would like to still be in attendance at the show. But Kate, where the hell was Brock? You watched SmackDown for him? Where was he? Give us the scoops. Where was he? Tell us where he was.
I don't get scoops. I'm just a heat magnet these days, but I don't know where Brock was. I don't know. Maybe he and Alex Hammerstone are actually the same person.
Canada. That's where he was.
He was carving meat. He was hunting. He was doing Brock Lesnar things. He ain't got time for this SmackDown stuff.
Good for him.
God. But we did have SmackDown tonight. It feels like the bigger show to me, actually. We'll talk about Rampage. Ricardo says Rampage is greater than SmackDown. I dare you to prove me wrong. Well, I won't try, but Becky Lynch came out. You know, she got that vicious heel reaction that we all anticipated. Oh, wait, no, she didn't. She got cheered loudly. And they chanted for her because she's a baby face, Kate. Because people like her.
Yeah. If you wanted Becky Lynch to work heel, you have to have her come back and then turn her heel somewhere down the line. This is not going according to plan at all. And we'll get into it later, but I just feel like for what they gave us tonight, there's absolutely no reason they couldn't have just let her and Bianca have a regular match at SummerSlam. She came out, she's super over. Everyone's excited to see her back. And when you're a badass babyface to start, that doesn't feel that different than a heel persona. There's not that switch that's going to turn. So, of course, they're going to cheer for her. She's not that different of a character in this way. So, this I was not surprised about at all, that she got the reaction that she did, especially because the women's division on SmackDown is so parched. They're just excited that anybody is back that might be a symbol of hope for them. So I was not shocked by this, and I think it was silly to think that right off the bat she could be a heel without having some sort of moment where it happens.
So Nerd Guru says 0-2 on Becky Lynch heel turn. She's too over. And Zach says Becky will never be a heel. The GOAT is a forever babyface. You're shaking your head, Jeremy. You seem to disagree.
1, you got to let it play out. 2, I thought this was an okay start. Maybe I'm being optimistic with this.
I thought they planted the seeds well too.
Yeah. She got the reaction you kind of expect her to get. People excited to see Becky Lynch, of course. Yeah, she was kind of coming out smiling babyface. She says she apologized for she did the Conor McGregor thing, right? Sean and I know. She did the Conor McGregor thing. I don't need her to go full Conor She talking about Montez Ford sliding in my DMs. You know, what's that all about? We don't need to go that far with some of this.
That would
stuff.
be funny. That'd be funny. That'd be really good.
but she did that, and then at the end where she's like, "Nah, I'm giving you a rematch. No, you can wait." Like, I thought they did some good, some seed planting. You can't immediately flip that switch with Becky. It's just not going to happen. But you can kind of slow build it a little bit, and I think that's what they did tonight. I was a fan of this. I was a fan of the Becky and Bianca portions. The other stuff I could have left off the table with these losers coming out. Not Liv Morgan,
buddy. If they
but the losers
seeds,
coming out.
If they planted seeds, the rabbit got into the garden and just ruined everything here, because you had Bianca come out, and Bianca was great. Bianca was awesome. She was like, yep, I don't like how this ended up, so I want my title back. This is what I want. And then Zelina and Carmella come out. Now, keep in mind, Carmella has lost 6 straight matches against Bianca. Zelina is winless in 8 matches against Bianca Belair. What the hell? Then we get Liv, and I'm like, oh, wait, this makes sense, because Liv has beaten both of these women, but hasn't been on TV in 6 weeks. Oh, my cats are outside. They're not loud in the office unless they're summoned. But
can we get both of our cats on the show, Sean?
No, not tonight. We gotta promote that, Jeremy.
No,
Come on,
fair.
Be a good promoter. You got to build to that. But
let it play out with the cats.
Liv popping up made a lot of sense, and I did like Becky just being like, "No, have fun fighting them." But Bianca reacted, I thought, how she should, Jeremy. She should be like, this was a fluke. I want my shot. But I also do think it's a real babyface move to go through 3 other people to get your title shot back.
I thought the Bianca stuff was good. I like seeing Liv, and I thought the Becky stuff was good. I don't need the losers coming out to keep losing. Like, get out of here with them. We've seen you. We know you're here to lose. Go away. Go to main event and try to pick up some wins or something. You dorks.
There were legitimately, by the end of the night, like 6 people on the women's roster that would have made more sense than Carmella or Zelina, Kate. We can talk about it now. Naomi popped up, and Sonya is just like, what? I love that the storyline is that they are corporately inept.
I mean,
we say to do more reality-based storylines, Kate. Here we are.
I didn't mean that. And I even kind of have a problem with, I was very excited to see Liv back on my screen. But this is how dry the well of women on SmackDown is. You have like kind of the top women's babyface fighting the underdog that everybody wants to see. And I get that this is for a title match, but like you're having 2 people that shouldn't be losing that are super over face each other for a title shot. Like, I would prefer if there was a heel that didn't constantly lose to people. Like, this would have been a great spot for Sasha because there's a story there, but she's not cleared. So I didn't even love, I was so glad Liv was back on my screen. I do not like that we had Liv and Bianca, but what other options do you have? Toni Storm is out to lunch, I guess.
I think a lot of options. You could have debuted Naomi here. You could have debuted Naomi in this match. There are 2 women on the show with title belts already that can say, we're champions, even though they lose all the time, Tamina and Natalya. There are the 2 women who have beaten them 3 times. They could say, well, you know what? It seems like we're not getting a tag title shot. Let us in on this. Or Toni Storm just chilling.
Just hanging out. Like, with this, someone had said, well, Liv was on TV. She doesn't really lose anything here. And I'm like, she literally lost a chance at a title shot here. Like,
yeah.
She did lose something. And it just makes no sense to book your top, like, baby face against the underdog that everybody wants on their screen to have one of them lose. Kind of like it doesn't make sense to have Karrion Kross and Keith Lee face each other. It's the same thing to me.
You guys are haters, all right? You guys are just absolute haters right now. Let me tell you why this made sense. I understand Zelina and Carmella are losers. It's okay. They were there to lose. You want to put Shotzi and Tegan in this spot so if they lose, just have the losers keep losing. That's fine.
Be a fatal 4-way.
If you're going to book this match, just have the losers keep losing in the elimination match.
It's ridiculous, Jeremy.
Josh, I'm trying to be positive. It's my last show. Let me go out with some positivity.
Don't do that. Josh Tellman says, fun fact, according to the cage match, Zelina is 1-17 since April of 2020. buddy, check out what she is since she's came back. Nikolai says, instead of Mella or Zelina, I don't know, how about Tony, Shotzi, Tegan, Naomi?
Look, I'm being dead serious about this. If you're going, I know your argument, Sean. You're going to be like, well, don't book the match then. Book it as a single elimination, or you don't have to book or single pinfall. Don't book it as an elimination.
Yeah.
Like, they booked it as an elimination. If you're going to book it as elimination, have the 2 losers in there to get beat. Liv gets some shine. Bianca looks good getting 2 pinfalls. I liked this. I genuinely, not doing a bit, I genuinely liked how this was set up.
Well, I think they could have done it against somebody who hadn't been in that spot against Bianca 52 times over the last month.
They're losers. They're going to keep losing. Who cares?
Sure. So let somebody else lose.
No, then you're going to complain. Why is Toni Storm taking this pinfall loss? Why is Tegan losing? Why is Shotzi losing?
She doesn't have to.
If it's an elimination match, then she does.
You know what? If they're not going to use Toni on TV, I'd rather them beat her in a contenders match or a title match than take her off TV than just not use them on TV. Britt Baker lost title matches and then went back to winning. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Sometimes wrestlers beat other wrestlers. Kate?
Yeah, I agree with you there. And the other thing with Zelina and Carmella is them being losers just reminds me that apparently Sasha's an idiot for choosing 2 allies that just can't win ever. Like, why do you pick 2 people who perpetually lose and who are going to face the same person because rematches is the only thing that exists here? Like, why is Sasha that dumb that she would choose people that just constantly lose all the time to be in her corner? It makes absolutely no sense. Not here for it, despite Jeremy's overwhelming positivity.
So Sasha looks better. Sasha's the star. She doesn't want anybody overshadowing her. You get 2 losers around her. She
beat,
gets higher level. She gets to a higher level. She looks better.
I don't know why they're hanging out with her because she beat their asses a few weeks
ago. Because they want to look better, but Sasha knows they ain't on her level, so she's just using them. I'll explain this all day. You guys are haters.
Joey Bag of Donuts says Fox is going to steal Kate to make up for Punk. Yeah, right. As if ironclad contract. Not happening. Ricardo says money for the big star and Kate too, I guess. I thought that Liv looked awesome in this match. I thought her performance was really good. She hadn't wrestled since Money in the Bank. I thought she was really good. Ultimately, Bianca, I like how it was laid out. Bianca won 2 falls. Liv won 1. So she even picked up a win. And she lost to the top dog, if not one of the top dogs on SmackDown. I didn't have a problem with this match, Kate. I thought it was a good match. Do wish the participants were different, but I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, if this is what you're going to book, which is dumb, this was well executed within the context that they gave us. I thought Liv looked great. Everybody said she's been working her butt off, so it is nice to see her on my television, and she is super over. And it's not the worst thing in the world because this is for a title shot. It doesn't have to be like, I hate you when you do have like a title shot hanging out there. So it's not the worst. I'll give Jeremy that much. But for the match itself, I thought it was well booked. I liked Liv getting a victory in there as well. So from what actually got done by the wrestlers, which seems to be the common theme, it was all right from there.
Sean Blanford says, by the way, why not Asuka? She is, well, allegedly on Raw. I wouldn't know by watching that show. Nikolai says, bring back the real Jeremy. Enough of this NWO ripoff.
That's not nice to say about Kate.
Wow.
I don't know what that means, honestly.
My God. Zach says, Becky denying Bianca was the cheapest heat. It was, but I liked it. Ryan Sullivan says, Jeremy needs a V-trigger Kate for his last episode.
If I could go through the screen, I would.
That would be good.
And try.
Once I figure out what a W trigger is, it's over for you.
You'll be a while. It'll be a minute.
Yeah. Nerd Guru says, do you think Becky Bianca is going to have a stip? Probably not. It'll probably be just one-on-one to start things off. But okay. Adam Cole, or actually people saying, or Joel saying, what's the update on Adam Cole? I feel like he was not on SmackDown or Raw next week. He's not staying if he hasn't left already. Like, his deal was just up today, guys. The guy couldn't even get an official AEW offer till today. Daniel Bryan has been a free agent since April. And or like May or something, and we're talking about like, it's been It's been a solid 23 hours for Adam Cole. Don't know. It might take some time. Nikolai says, watch both shows. SmackDown sold me a ticket that Adam Cole might be Dominic's opponent. Felt like Rampage was a better show, and Giannis agreed during the tag match. So Ray is backstage, and he says, you gotta work on your own, Dominic. You got to do it, and I got you a match, and I don't know against who. When that silence happened for a brief second, I was like, oh, it's going to be somebody big. Jeremy, it was Sami Zayn, who we reported on FightfulSelect.com today, was fine. People have been asking about him and Cesaro. We reported they were both fine. And this was a fine match, but Sami Zayn dancing over top of Dominic was worth it for me.
Sami Zayn rules. It was good. It was a fine match. Dominic's still little how do I say, like video game-esque in his movements. But Sami Zayn is an excellent professional wrestler. And the more time Dominic gets with guys like this, the more he will improve and the better he will become. And when he turns on his father, people will maybe react to that.
So Kate, what'd you think of this one?
I thought the match was fine. I have some hesitations about these father-son relationships that we're seeing in wrestling. Like, we see Brock Anderson go out. Like, my dad would care that I'm about to die. If my dad was setting up a match for me, I would hope he would know who my opponent is. My goodness. Like, you gotta straighten out your family relationships in wrestling right now. The match itself was fine. I think Sammy's like the perfect guy to have in there with him. So he can cover up anything that's kind of green about him. He's definitely still getting his sea legs under him. But like, between Sammy's experience and just what an entertaining guy he is in this entire run, I think that was probably one of the better matches we've seen out of Dominic. I'm just not like super into this.
They're teaching life lessons. Yeah, these ain't babies, okay? These are kids in like their 20s and stuff. You can't just baby and be like, we're going to bring you along nicely. These are about life lessons, Kate.
I know, but like, hey, someone might come out here and kick your ass. Like, I could have found out who, but I'm just going to let you learn that on your own. I think that's rude.
Exactly. You think people told Ray who his opponent's going to be? Ray was wrestling, was he 15 years old? He showed up at the arena in Mexico. They're like, there you go, kid. You're out here against Chris Jericho or whoever. They're going to toss you around. Ray's like, okay. I think his dad told him who he was wrestling? No.
I would just be like, hey, Dad, thanks, but no thanks. Like, if you're going to be helpful, like maybe help me along. This isn't that helpful to me. You're just setting me up for pain.
Life.
My dad's nicer than Rey Mysterio. That's what I'm saying.
Life. Ray's gonna beat his kid's ass in video games. You kidding me?
Drew says SmackDown tonight. I really enjoyed him. A Becky mark. So obviously she was great, and the women got the first 30 minutes. A very good sign. Yes, that was a good sign. I'm very happy about that. Cyclops says he was very happy to see the crowd is still into Bianca. Me too. That was a good pop for her as well. So yeah, some positives coming there. Andrew F says, I find it funny that Sonya treated Naomi exactly how WWE has always treated her. I wouldn't say has always treated her. I mean, they had plans for her ahead of the Orlando WrestleMania. She won the title twice there. She won the title at Mania. She won the Battle Royal one time. It just hasn't been consistent. There have been minor efforts and little consistency. Damn, Stephen James. Girlfriend broke up with me before the show. He needs some friendly faces to help me through it. Thank you guys for all you do. Damn.
Stephen, I'm sorry. Eat a bunch of ice cream and suck.
Eat a bunch of ice cream. Or better yet, go to magicspoon.com because then you won't feel guilty after you do that. Use that code FIGHTFUL. I mean, you'll you know what? Here's the benefit, Stephen. You send us $5, you'll save $5 off your order when you go over there. So you're coming out even here, buddy.
There you go.
Any breakup advice, Kate?
Fall's around the corner. Girls are going to be wanting to lock it down. So there you go, man.
Are they? Is that like a thing in fall?
Cuffing season? Oh yeah.
I don't know.
I know Kate had a heartbreaking rejection this week, so I just figured that she was in the mood.
Oh my God! Just the scoops over here.
Miraculously, I'm rebounding. But thank you. I did on Twitter get engaged to Dan Barry somehow.
I mean, it's
Very
you know,
nice.
it's just good. I'm glad that me and Jeremy could be here for you through this tough time.
As Sean, a married man, and me, a soon-to-be married man, you know, we have plenty of love advice to give everybody.
Yeah, we love love.
That's right.
If there's one thing I learned doing this show with Jeremy, it was to love love.
Thank you. You learned something in this year we've done the show, Sean.
That's what he left me with. Oh
Now,
my God.
and now he's leaving you. What does Jeremy know about love?
One day, somebody will love
What?
Kate the way that Tay Conti loves to run her knee into Allie's face 7 times in a row.
I'll consider myself very lucky because Tay Conti loves that shit.
I know. CM says WWE should bring back automatic rematches as a thing they have in canon since they do them anyway. No, they shouldn't. That was one of the laziest, stupid crutches they ever did, and it would book them into a corner of beating somebody back to back. Not like that matters, but Hannah says, come to me for dating advice. Man. Yeah.
Hannah has good dating advice.
Does she?
Yeah, I'm not throwing Hannah under the bus here.
Man, we're all doing karaoke next weekend. Eh?
Oh, are you gonna do karaoke?
I'm probably
Sean?
not gonna do it, but
Coward.
you never know. Maybe
Coward.
I will.
Hannah and
Bezos-
I are gonna do so many duets. We're gonna shut this place down.
Guys, getting your super chats, it would mean a lot. We're obviously starting with SmackDown, but Bezos says, live in Naomi back on my TV screen. Yes, please. She's been improving from her training vids when she busted out that cartwheel Hurricane Rana, lost it. I loved that spot. It was a handstand Hurricane Rana, and it was awesome. Some stupid punk says, Jeremy out here on the wrong con.
Give me any of the con coin. I don't care which
Yes,
one
true.
it is.
That's true. Young Drizzy says the new NXT logo definitely feels like NXT moving forward using younger talent. The people promoting NXT were all new talent. Thoughts? I have had some talks with people in NXT, some people at the top of NXT, and one of the things that I was asked is, what would be different if you had your way? And I was like, everything's dark. Everything looks like the audience isn't lit. Like everything's like black around the ring. And I could say the same about Ring of Honor in a lot of ways too. Like brighten it up, be a little bit more vivid. Kate, what did you think when we saw, it was actually Wale breaking the news of the new NXT logo and song?
I didn't love it. I felt like the multicolor thing was kind of like already Dia AEW. Like they were kind of the ones that were like, hey, we're going to do more than 2 colors. I know that's mind blowing to people, but like, here's multiple colors in a lot of our branding. And they did that and took the black out of it. I don't know. I think I'm just too bitter at NXT in general right now, but it felt more like a little kid art project to me. I was not super into this.
Jeremy?
I thought it was good. It needs to be brighter. I don't like this dark, moody, metal, emo stuff that Paul is going for here. I like brighten it up. You know, Paul looked like he just got broken up with. We need the love in the NXT.
You are all about the love today.
I'm all about the love always. Are you kidding me?
Daniel says, is USA Network pissed about NXT? Not a fan of the logo. I love it, but I would imagine they would be happy for a rebrand because how much worse can it get? Brandon Campbell says, I feel like the Naomi thing is to set her up for a heel turn and maybe align with the bloodline. I can see Usos and Naomi against Street Profits and Bianca down the line. That would make an awful lot of sense to me, Jeremy. What are your thoughts on that? That's something that people keep talking about. I know Roman has sort of shot it down in interviews.
I know
he's a
people
worker too. He's a real good worker.
Like, I'm not getting my hopes up for this. Do I hope it happens? Yes, it would make sense. It would be great. But it just feels like one of those things that fans are just going to fantasy book, and they just actually have no, like, they have no plans to actually do this.
No. You think that plans fantasy book something for Naomi and WWE doesn't listen? Get out of town.
They could never.
No way.
CM says Dominic has the charisma of a lawn chair at the bottom of a lake. Listen, if
God.
you find a lawn chair at the bottom of a lake, people are going to be like, look what you just found. They'll be like kind of amazed by that.
I'm kind of like, how do you know that's the equivalent of his charisma? Have you found a lawn chair at the bottom of a lake and you know that that's the measuring stick? I have questions.
Dante says, from a graphic design perspective, too many colors on the logo, way too busy. I mean, it's a versatile logo. Anything matches it. I can tell you that based on my beautiful SRS ones. There's so many colors on it. It'll match anything that I wear. Joey AM says the X is not centered on the NXT logo, and it bothers me to no end. I can't be the only one. You weren't the only one. Kenneth Johnson brought it up, and I couldn't unsee it. Kate, was this something you noticed as well?
Oh my gosh, immediately. It drove me insane.
I have not noticed this.
Yeah.
Hold on. I've got to look at this now.
It's bad. I also I work in marketing, so I look for things like that, but this one was like glaringly obvious.
Well, Todd Ball says, what's up with the wind tunnel filter on the crowd noise in WWE? Is the idea if it constantly sounds like shit, we won't notice when the fake crowd noise gets pumped in? We do. They haven't been pumping it in as much lately. I mean, there have been some, you can gauge a lot of the reactions based on how the crowd moves behind. I don't know. I'm not in their truck, so I don't know. I don't know a lot of that stuff, but I am trying to find out. Chad Gable took on Cesaro, and this ended the same way when they inexplicably did a Cesaro versus Otis match a couple months ago, a DQ. Now, this is fun briefly, but Cesaro gets attacked by Otis, and then there's this gnarly clothesline German suplex. It was naughty. Oh, it was naughty, Kate. But, we're going to see this 6 times. We're going to see Otis and Cesaro. We're going to see Cesaro and Gable. We're going to see Cesaro and somebody else against both of them twice. You know the drill.
I don't know how you screw up Cesaro. They managed to screw up his booking so much. He's just perfect. Just let him go out there, have a match, get this, that has a clear ending, and just let it unfold. You have to stand so far in his way for him not to be interesting. And this is kind of like the women's match. Not only was the booking a little frustrating, but because we know we're going to get 900 rematches, the mystery was taken out of that so fast. We knew it was going to be Bianca. You don't have to send 3 other people out there. It's so obvious when they do this rematch stuff. All right.
Why does Kate sound like she's sitting on a lawn chair at the bottom of the lake?
Yeah, it sounds like you're sitting at the bond. Your audio is a little messy there.
Is it? I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Now it's better. But
now it seems okay.
Sorry, I was in a lawn chair at the bottom of a lake.
Then we got Nakamura and Boogs defeating the Dirty Dogs. I'm okay with this. It's a different match, Jeremy. It's, what more can you ask for? It is them doing a little something with the tag team division. Why the heck not?
They love the Boogs, right? He got the victory last week. He got the victory this week. Nakamura is the champion here, and Boogs is taking all the wins here. I don't feel like it's long before Boogs is the one with that title.
Kate, any thoughts on this one?
I don't like that he took Elias's gimmick and has a less cool guitar. Flying V guitars are stupid. You can't play them sitting down. They're terrible. I'm not in on the Rick Boogs thing, but all right. It's not.
In the words of Joel Pearl, at least Rick Boogs can play his own solos, unlike Elias.
That's fair, but it's gimmick infringement, and that guitar sucks.
Joel, let the record show. I put you over, Joel Pearl, on the last show.
Yeah.
Nerd Guru says to VKM Boogs is Reggie with a guitar is my feel. I don't know. He seems like Reggie an awful lot more than Rick. Mark says, I've just discovered you guys and Jeremy is leaving. Yeah, we're firing him. He does not want to work Fridays. Actually, he'll be on the Distraction every week and on the Twitch about 9 times a week, I think.
Yeah,
sorry. I love you. Super kick.
I'm still here.
Jeremy's
going anywhere. I'm going anywhere.
Handle Ric Flair. That's what you are.
Oh, man.
You got to look at your hands.
Jeremy will pop up on Wrestling Inc. in 7 months Wrestling Sting. That's the way it'll work.
No comment.
That's it'll work. Podcast Wiz says, as a born and raised Arkansan, I popped for the Razorbacks. The crowd got into it too. 2 months, Jeremy, after you wrote an article, I assume it was you, about Happy Corbin being trademarked. We saw it.
He probably did.
Let's be real. He came out. He's won a bunch of money. He came out in a Bentley. He's super excited, and he tries to buy Big E's Money in the Bank briefcase from $20,000 to $100,000. Big E's like, no. Offers to sell him a sandwich and a pencil and a plushie, which gets a great cheap pop. It's masterful. And Big E doing this is great. And Big E's like, hey, I'll fight you, though. And Corbin's like, LOL, no, I'm rich. Bye. And I loved it, Jeremy. This is levels. This is amazing.
This rule. Dude, Corbin has been so good
throughout
this whole thing. From hitting rock bottom and being depressed and everything, being in Vegas, winning in Vegas. You know, nobody goes to Vegas and wins. Corbin, he lost in the wrestling. He won at the craps tables. He changed his whole life around. It's great. I do question his wife's motives because he's like, my wife left me. Then he got all the money, and she's like, oh, come back. That's a little sketchy. All right. I ain't saying she a gold digger, but otherwise, like everything else, this was good. Corbin's great. We pretended Baron Corbin was like bad for so long. Baron Corbin, actually very good.
Pretended? No, he was not good for a very long time.
Haters.
He's great now. Kate,
he's always been great.
His finisher was always cool. Lone Wolf Corbin was boring. This was great. I love also the casino theme that he came in with. That was so good.
Yeah.
This was very fun. I do think he should look into like a stock portfolio at some point. I'm a little worried he's gone maybe too far on the expenditures, but this was fantastic. I loved his interaction with Big E. This is by far the most this is not Baron Corbin charisma in a lawn chair at the bottom of the lake. This is the most charismatic Baron Corbin we've ever had. I really liked this segment.
Some Stupid Punk says NXT going from bland and gold to tie-dye vomit. I prefer it. I've seen this NXT for like 10 years now, so I'm ready to see a change. We'll get to that one. Ricardo says, I learned to play on a flying V, Kate. Buddy, what is a flying V?
The guitar that has the like.
Oh.
I'm glad you learned to play on it because that's what it is. It's a beginner guitar, and you should upgrade.
Fellow Ruckus member Emily C says, did you guys know Elias is dead? This is, that is who you think it is, Jeremy.
My God. Emily, can we be best friends?
No, they're my best friends now. Emily and Allie Cease are my best friends now. They're Kentuckians. I just want to say, I popped at Jeremy going.
I was double checking there.
You were trying to see if it was the wax figure, weren't you? I know it. We'll see them in Chicago next weekend. So there you go. Yes.
Oh, I'm very excited. Can I V-trigger you, Emily?
I
want to be your best friend, though. Because
her sister's a wrestler. Yeah.
My God.
So, yeah, we'll see them next week. Do we know Elias is dead? Emily, now you're dead. You're getting V-triggered.
Sean frozen?
What?
I'm in charge now. Sean's gone. Oh, I should remove you. Bye. I'm in charge now. Sean's out of the show here. Where are we at? He actually did just leave. I don't even know where we're at on the show. That's probably an issue. We did an ad read or anything. There's Sean.
Not freeze.
He really didn't freeze.
You did freeze.
No, he really didn't, buddy.
I didn't at all. She just rudely interrupted me. Wow. But fortunately, Jeremy, I'm going to be able to sleep at night without any interruption thanks to helixsleep.com/Fightful. Now that I'm traveling, let's see, I've at Nashville, Denver, Jacksonville, Cincy, Indianapolis. I got Chicago next week. I got New York next month. I want to be able to get as much sleep as possible when I get home. I want that good recovery. And Helix Sleep has a quiz that takes just 2 minutes to complete and matches your body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. Would you buy a mattress made for somebody else? I didn't. During the pandemic, I wanted a new mattress. I was sleeping on this terrible slab of memory foam. Wow, memory foam. And I found helixsleep.com, and I took the quiz. I got matched to the Dusk Lux mattress. I wanted something between soft and firm. And before that, I only slept on my back. Now I'm able to sleep on my back and my side. It's made me a better sleeper, a more versatile sleeper. And I didn't have to go to a mattress store and roll around on something that one of all you people had been laying all over. Ugh. I didn't want to go to a mattress store and turn on the black light and the luminol just, light up like Vegas was last week. No way. I went to helixsleep.com. I took that quiz. It matched me to the perfect mattress. And it's the best overall mattress pick of 2020 by GQ and Wired magazine. And we'll go ahead and name it Fightful's top mattress pick for 2020 and 2021. They have a 10-year warranty. You get to try it out for 100 nights risk-free, and they even pick it up for you if you don't love it, but you're gonna, unless you're a chump. They even have financing options and flexible payment plans. So a great night's sleep, but never far away. And they offer up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/Fightful. That is helixsleep.com/Fightful. Somebody is causing me to echo. Let me see. Oh, it's Kate.
Of course it is.
It's Kate.
Of course.
Wait. Kate. Yeah, it was Kate.
Is it still
I hear
bad?
it too. I hear
What'd
it
I
too.
do?
I don't know. You probably had your speakers on, Kate.
Terrible mic work. Terrible. You got the echoes. Are you sure? You want to get rid of me here, Sean?
Echo?
This feels
What are you,
like
trapped?
I'm at the bottom of a lake in a lawn chair, guys.
Clearly.
We got to buy Kate some earbuds.
Yeah. This.
Nerd Guru says, Happy Corbin is great, actually, but it's missing Cameron Grimes. Give me the new Battle of the Millionaires.
Sweet.
What do you think about that, Jeremy? Lots of fantasy booking about that.
I love Cameron Grimes. He rolls. I was hoping that Cameron Grimes would be the guy to save Corbin out of all this. I like what they ended up doing with the Vegas stuff. Yeah, you do a Grimes and Corbin, and do a Battle of the Millionaires type things. One's kind of a dick with his money. One's pretty nice with his money. And they both turn into dicks with money because anybody with a lot of money, just assholes.
But we had an Edge and Rollins promo. This was Edge saying, okay, I'm going after the title. And Rollins, I don't know what this was, but I liked it. He was like, you know what? Edge taught me a lot about myself. It made me realize that maybe I need to change. Kate, I liked both of these. Edge is like, okay, now I can move on. I hope it was a one-off match. That's all you need. If you need to go back to it again in the future, that'd be cool. I don't believe it, but Kate, your thoughts on this?
Right now in WWE, if you say you're moving on in a promo, I'm pretty excited. That's all it takes for me right now. I really liked this with Rollins. I think sometimes it's good just to, like you alluded to earlier, sometimes you lose to someone and that's okay. That doesn't mean you tumble down the card. That doesn't mean that it spells doom for you. Sometimes you just need to look internally and find another layer within yourself. So I liked this from Rollins. It was nice to have something that was a little bit more grounded than the really goofy stuff he was doing, though his outfit still choice. But yeah, I liked these back to back. They weren't too long. I think they should maybe let this go for a little bit, but I've thought that a lot of times and they haven't. So we'll see what happens.
Jeremy, I know that you've been passionate about Seth Rollins. You seem to identify with him for some reason that I can't quite grasp, but go ahead and get your last words in on Seth Rollins, because I know you're not going to talk about wrestling on Thursdays.
I don't have the glove, unfortunately. I'm not in the usual.
I'm shocked. One
place.
Foot out the door.
Yeah,
this guy.
I can go to a. Hold on. I can go to a deep dark
Jeremy's
place.
like, is today a half day?
It's like if you were a senior in high school and you had early dismissal. That was the greatest thing.
We're going to a dark place, and sometimes the monster has to come out when you go to that dark place, Sean Ross Sapp. And you know what happened? You see these claws here? You think Seth Rollins is done with Edge? No. Extreme Rules. You know what happened last year at Extreme Rules, Sean Ross Sapp? With Seth Rollins, a man lost his eye.
Yeah, that was a
his
year
eye
ago. God,
was taken out.
Long year.
That is what is going to happen to Edge at Extreme Rules this year. The
AEW.
man's eye will be dug out when the monster, the claws of Seth Rollins, come out.
Let's mute Jeremy here. AEW has had more follow-up to the eye gimmicks than WWE has. I can't believe it's been a year since Extreme Rules. Oh, no.
It's been over a year because they moved the date back. It was like May last year.
I was like, man, that's been a long year.
Maybe July.
So backstage, we have Heyman trying to get into Roman's locker room, but it's locked, or his dressing room, whatever the hell you want to call it. The Usos come out, and they're like, you knew about Brock, didn't you? And Heyman's like, no. I thought this was really, really good stuff. I thought they pulled it off really well. And then later on, Roman's like, Paul, what are you doing? Come on. Like, he acted like it was no big deal. And Kate, I love that it's no big deal to Roman because he should see himself like, Brock doesn't threaten me. I don't care about him. I'll beat his ass.
I do really like this because initially I was not super excited for a Brock return because I knew he'd be facing Roman. And even though this is a very different iteration of Roman, my only complaint with Brock is that it's kind of the same thing with him, right? And I feel like he's already had the same type of match with Roman Reigns over and over again. So I wasn't super excited to see this. But the one caveat I said was, if Paul Heyman's involved, I could be very interested in this. And that's kind of exactly what happened. Like, I think the nuances of the story they're going to tell with this is going to make this something that is great. But I was not excited initially because we get rematches already all the time. I don't need rematches dating back now. So I am very excited for this. I like the direction they're going in. Roman should definitely not be threatened by Brock. He shouldn't be threatened by anybody. And Paul Heyman should be trying to kind of cover his ass here, I think. I really liked this.
Razor was happy.
I was happy that Sean Ross Sapp just got muted while reading that super chat.
Oh my gosh.
That was pretty clever.
Thanks.
That was pretty clever.
I'm very good at this, Sean Ross
Devo
Sapp.
said GoFundMe for Kate for headphones and a life jacket. We've got a bunch of super chats. Colin says, hear me out. Or actually, I'll save that one. Kevin says, I thought this was a fresh SmackDown, interested in what Heyman will do, and Matt hopes they're building slow to Brock and Roman. They're not probably Saudi, knowing them. But we did have the championship celebration, and Finn Balor interrupted it. To me, Jeremy, this makes a whole lot of sense. A guy who's been winning, had his title shot stolen from him, wants to compete for the title, challenges Reigns for it next week. I wouldn't doubt if that didn't happen. I wouldn't doubt if they're like, well, 6-man tag next week, and then they do the title match at MSG in 2 weeks. That would make an awful lot of sense to me. And it'd be great if Roman Reigns like trashed wherever the hell they are next week. He's like, I'm not defending my title here. I'll defend it in the Garden, but not here. What did you think of all this? To me, it's just common sense, not rocket science booking, just easy stuff that makes sense.
They announced the title match for next week. So
did they?
Yes. You should like go to Fightful.com and like read the articles that are on the website.
I was busy producing a show.
They announced the match for next week. So unless they swerve it, which they could, that's not above them to change that up. Looks like we're gonna get it for next week. I'm with you. Seems like it'd be a bigger deal if you want to try to do that for the Garden. But if they've got Cena for the Garden, if he's actually gonna appear on screen, then you can maybe do like a triple threat match or something. I don't know, but they're gonna do it next week by all accounts. We shall see.
Yeah, I definitely probably should have paid attention to that. Podcast Wiz 2010 says, I'm calling Brock killing Finn incoming. No, I don't think they'll do that. I think they should build this match and do it. Colin Hedden says, hear me out. Roman and Finn open SmackDown next week and do a 60-minute Broadway. Kate, that sounds like really fun. I doubt they'll do it, but that sounds really fun.
It does sound very fun, and I also doubt that they'll do it because those things don't generally go together.
Yes, that's a fair point. Only B1234 says, do you guys know if Roman and the Usos had a 6-man tag with Street Profits and Balor after they went off the air? I don't, but I know they've had a bunch of them with like the Mysterios and Finn Balor on live event loops. So there's that. Alicia Ellis says, I'm surprised Finn had friends to save him. WWE loves making us think that faces have no friends. I haven't seen a lot of history between those. I think it's just the Street Profits being like greedy and politicking and all that, and be like, we can get a title shot out of this.
That's smart.
Yeah. Overall, I thought SmackDown was pretty solid, Kate.
It was not offensive like Raw is, but I found it kind of boring. Some good stuff in there, but overall, when it's so many rematches and so many rematches that you can see coming down the road, it just is rough.
Jeremy, any thoughts?
I thought it was actually good. There weren't that many rematches, right? Like, a lot of these were fresh matchups. Will we see them again in the coming weeks? Sure, but I ain't got to watch them in the coming weeks, so I don't care. So it's good stuff for tonight.
Well, before we move on to AEW, Some Stupid Punk says, by the way, Kate, a W trigger is just 2 knees. Oh, boy. Well, we had an AEW Rampage that, is not exactly like making me go, oh, damn, I'm glad they add a third hour. There was a good match there, and there was some other stuff that I'm like, okay. But the way that Dynamite and Rampage were this week, I was like,
not the best follow-up when you had CM Punk last week.
Not at all.
You want to hit a little bit stronger than that, I think.
And we've got J.K. Schwal saying the crowd was a lot louder in person Wednesday than came across on TV. They were gassed after a quick turnaround between Dynamite and Rampage, and starting with Giannis, tag match, and Miro, weird main event again. That I know Kenny Omega was in the main event. To me, the match with stakes should probably main event, and that's what we opened up with. And Jeremy, we opened with Giannis, and to me, this was rad for AEW. It would have been a lot better if he didn't have to have his mask on, but he did. Giannis, for those of you all who don't know, is one of the top, and I mean like 1, 2, or 3 top stars in the NBA. Has turned Milwaukee into a destination. If that doesn't put it over for you, I don't know what could. This was awesome. They were going back and forth to him and his brother, marking out during this match.
This is the best thing on the show. The Giannis reactions. Forget the match itself. Just going to Giannis and showing him having a great time. I would have kept the camera on him the whole time. I mean, you can complain, oh, why'd they show him so much? Why? You want to show like fans being passionate and stuff, especially when that fan is an NBA champion, NBA Finals MVP, and 2-time NBA MVP, and one of the top stars in the entire league. Like him having a good time, like, oh man, like Giannis just at a wrestling show, front row, enjoying it. Like he thinks this is cool. All right, I will go check this out. Like I think this was a great idea by AEW.
Perception is reality.
Yes, and I like anyone complaining about this. I don't know what to tell you because like they got the TNT synergy as well. This was good stuff by AEW. A very good decision to shoot Giannis as much as they did, and I'm glad he had a good time. Giannis seems like a great guy.
Yeah, Kate, are you an NBA girl?
A little bit. He's like not only such a successful champion, but like he's wildly likable. Like you see his interactions with the community and his love for Milwaukee and stuff. Like I thought it was so awesome to have him there. And he just was marking out a bunch, which was awesome to see. Like his reactions were so vivid. I wish they like maybe had done picture in picture for the whole match or something. It was really, that was kind of worth it, but maybe not. Cause this was to me by far the best match to open up the show, and then it kind of fell off a cliff, I felt like, from there. So I think it was really cool to have him there. And if you are having people that are tuning in for the first time since Punk returned, not a bad thing to see on your screen to keep them around.
Well, this tag match ruled hard. This had stakes. It was there was one spot I didn't like. I didn't like Luchasaurus kicking out of a destroyer at 1. That wasn't it for me. I was like, man, come on.
That move is that.
It's just
it ain't that move anymore,
and that sucks.
Yeah,
it
sucks,
does, but it's
but
not.
That's just what it's become at this point. It just ain't that move anymore.
Yeah, and it makes me very, very sad. Chuck Cassis says Tony Khan introducing Giannis was a great moment. I love seeing the owner of a company mark out for things like a fan. The show was great too. Oscar says the tag team match at All Out should be a 3-way. Oh, that's too many bodies inside of a cage, my man. Especially with big Luchasaurus running around. But this match overall, Kate, this humped. This one was a blast. And again, seeing one of the top sports stars in the world being like, this is amazing, and I can't believe I'm witnessing these athletic feats, puts it over pretty well.
Yeah, this was fantastic. I liked this match a lot more than what we got on Wednesday. And I think that having the cage stipulation for what we're going to get at the pay-per-view is going to make the fact that that's a rematch feel a little bit fresher because there's something to add a new dynamic into it. But as far as this match went, this was absolute gangbusters to open up the show. And AEW, I think, is really great at putting high energy tag matches to open up shows. It's a pattern that they fallen into that I'm kind of okay with because it's such an exciting start to the night. And they rarely open the shows with promos, and definitely not long ones. Like, even when they do, it's usually like a quick in and out minute-long promo or whatever. So this followed that formula, and that works for me. Loved this match. This was a great way to kick off the show. I really, really loved it. El Milkman says, did you guys hear that Giannis was there? I don't think commentary quite mentioned it enough.
You should beat that stuff to the ground, though. Like, you've got a top NBA star there. Like, I'd go full bore with it, too. You kidding me?
It's just because Jericho yells it at us.
Yeah, Jericho doesn't need to yell in that great.
See, this was my first time hearing Jericho on commentary. So I was at the show 2 weeks ago, and last week he wasn't there. So this was my first time getting the Chris Jericho commentary experience, and I see what everyone is talking.
Yeah. Chuck says, I love the Lucha Brothers winning too. So important. There's a lot of history that I trust them to play off of. But Jeremy, why don't you like it?
Because the All Out tag team match is there's not enough build there for me. They won the tournament, and that's cool, but there hasn't been a lot of like Lucha Bros and Young Bucks interaction. They did this stuff with Penta and Eddie, but Phoenix, they took out Phoenix. I get that. I feel like the story just would have been better if it was the Jurassic Express, because they beat Jurassic Express a couple weeks ago because of the interference. So if Jurassic Express wins the tournament, go into the cage where the interference is neutralized, I feel like that made more sense than the Lucha Bros just kind of winning their. Look, I'm all for winning their way into a title shot. Don't get me wrong. I feel the story was better with Jurassic Express. The match is going to be great. It's going to be a fantastic match. It'll rule, but I think the story would have been better with Jurassic Express. That's all.
Cyclops says, do the Destroyers to end the match? Yeah, okay, yeah, I did like that. Sean Blanford says, who's taking a Destroyer from the top of the cage? Better yet, who's kicking out at 2?
Yeah.
After it happens is what I want to know. Oh, man. Alicia Ellis said the women's matches on WWE shows are better than AEW this week. So let's talk about that one. I don't know why the Bunny is winning on Dynamite or Rampage right now when Thunder Rosa is like parked on Dark or something like that. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, they keep trying to make this happen, and she has vastly improved, especially over the last year. Her in-ring work has vastly improved. But like, you want to tell me that the crowd wouldn't have been more interested if this were Thunder Rosa and anybody else? Ty Conti is somebody that the fans are getting behind too. Like, she couldn't have won that. I know they were setting up the Penelope thing, but to me, this is something they could have set up on another show. And Jeremy, like, Tay Conti hit her with like 64 moves in a row. She was like, all right, gory special into the knee. She like stole Sammy Guevara's move. Bam. Let's hit the GTS too. Bam. Hey, you know what? I'll do it again just to make sure I got Kenta's version too. Bam. She like stole the North's finisher where they spin her around like 65 times and then hit her with a knee in the face. Like,
she was move spamming out there. Bless her.
If you did the V trigger after that, Jeremy, and this were like a WWE video game, it would take like the special points from you. Be like, no, you're using that too much. You can't do it. And then it's just like, okay, well, we'll hit you with these brass knucks off a distraction and win. I liked the idea of this match more than the execution. And I've grown to really like Allie as a performer as well, but this just wasn't it for me. But how'd you feel?
Nah, I didn't think Allie's punch, Bunny's punch, like looked good with the knucks either. Like, it wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me. I get it seems to be setting up the Anna Jay return, and they'll do the tag team match, and that's fine. Just wasn't for me.
Kate?
Yeah, I have consistent complaints about the women's division. I have consistent complaints about the referees, and this gave me both. Like, Aubrey is good at this, and I felt like this ending made Aubrey look a little bit like an idiot. And it's just wildly frustrating because I feel like so much of AEW's storytelling is so nuanced and detailed and good. And then when it comes to the women's division, it's usually like, hey, we gave you maybe a week of build, and there's not really a reason you're having this match, but here it is. I was very encouraged to see Conti back on my screen, though. I think my biggest complaint in the women's division, or one of them, is they made her a star and then she completely disappeared. And same with Sheeta being a champion, just like gone, relegated to Dark and Elevation. So I felt like she had such a shining moment and they just pushed her off a cliff. So I was very glad to see her back. But I don't like distraction finishes in general. We already had one on SmackDown. I don't need that. And I really don't need it in a women's division that needs help. Like, just give me something clean here to go off of.
Ah, man. Some Stupid Punk says, at least the AEW women's division is trying to show more people. Better than the same two women losing the same match to the same woman every week. That's a fair point. It is a fair point. But,
two rights don't make a wrong.
Yeah,
two wrongs don't make a right. Two wrongs don't make a right.
That's a low bar. It is a low bar. Cyclops says women's stories in AEW, not in the title scene, is bad. It has been, and it shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be. Guys, leave a super chat. It would mean an awful lot to us. And please leave us a thumbs up on this video. Vote in the poll at the top of our YouTube gimmick up there. Also, we've got interviews with Sheamus, Drew McIntyre dropping this week. We've got Robert DeFelice doing one about card games, all kinds of cool stuff. Ryan Evans says, do you think Dark now being taped in an Orlando studio will be AEW's version of developmental like NXT? I don't want to say I was a little bit disappointed to hear this, Kate, but one of the things I liked about Dark was we were going to get to see regional talent from all over the place. And I can't imagine they're going to be like, yeah, let's fly out a bunch of people. I mean, maybe they will. Maybe they'll mass tape, but also they like to keep it pretty current with some of their tapings as well. How do you think this will work?
Yeah, so there's a few things in play for me on this. And even with Rampage tonight, I would like some more clarity around the personalities of how all of this content functions, right? Like, we know what Dynamite is. We're starting to understand what Rampage is. Some clarity around what the difference between Dark and Elevation really are and making them feel different enough would be just really nice in general. But yeah, I was bummed to hear that too. I think part of what I've loved over the past year has been getting to see talent that, like, I follow on the independent circuit get to work there. And I thought when they went back on the road, that was going to become even more prevalent because you could pick people from the cities that you're in. So that kind of bummed me out. I don't know if maybe this is something with, like, if the Nightmare Factory is going to become even more of a feeder for them, or if they're going to pull from Florida. But I didn't love hearing that. I would prefer it go the other way.
I think Elevation you can use kind of like regional talent and stuff. I like your idea, Sean, of flying in talent for like mass tapings for Dark. You don't need it's the YouTube show, right? Like, you don't need like top guys on that show. That's when they announced Elevation. That was a thing of like, oh, you're going to see more top guys on this show, which makes sense because that's the show in front of the live audience, the traveling show essentially. So I would mass tape Dark, use it as a developmental type show. Maybe you got one or two top guys on there each week that you can just tape a match or two that doesn't have to be like super current. And then otherwise you just kind of use guys you're looking to sort of give a tryout to and see how they do. That's how I would do it anyway.
Boris Nizdovich says, really enjoyed Conti versus Bunny. Hopefully they continue the storyline in the Battle Royal. Forged glasses look really cool as well. Well, I mean, that's why they set this up, was to set up that angle for the Battle Royal. And I imagine they would eliminate, or they'd probably eliminate a few people. Braden Campbell says, I want more Abaddon. I mean, tune into Dark. She wins there every single time. She's like 42-1 on AEW Dark right now. Alicia Ellis, or actually, let's go to Zach Barber saying, Young Bucks and Lucha Brothers haven't wrestled each other since 2019. Yeah, but they wrestled in very high-profile matches multiple times. Greg Carter says, Marco stunt running off the Bucks popped me. That was very good. That was good. David Brett mentions Alex Reynolds reminds him of Samurai Cop. Yeah. Danny notes seeing Tony Khan pull off the impossible by signing Punk. If he gets his meeting with Cole, he's as good as gone, baby. I mean, I'm sure he'll get his meeting. I mean, it's hard for me to believe that a meeting won't happen, considering the construction of that household. Alicia says AEW was kind of meh this week. I agree. Both shows. I'd say even Dark and Elevation were. This has been one of the most mediocre weeks, and I didn't expect that. Ron says they should do the commentary live for Rampage. The audio mix was poor because the overlaid commentary made in-ring audio dull and distant. I don't know exactly how they did it. Jeremy, you got any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree. JK, I think he mentioned it in an earlier super chat, and I know people who were at the Milwaukee show that said the crowd did come down a little bit for Rampage, but it sounded like they were into like nothing on this show. That's why the Giannis stuff actually stood out more, because Giannis is going crazy, and the rest of this show, it didn't sound like they were into anything. And I do think it was just kind of the overlay with the commentary hurting that more than the actual the crowd being bad.
Jamin Chaput says, love it or hate it, Jericho's this generation's Jerry Lawler. I see the comparison, but I mean, Jerry Lawler was like 43 when he started in WWF. There was some more runs left in him than I think Jericho, but I do understand the comparison, and they are equally as obnoxious on commentary. Thank you to Ryan Sullivan for the super chat. We've got one from SmackDown where Only B says, I was trying to say earlier the 6-man tag did happen after SmackDown went off the air. Oh, okay. But I mean, that doesn't really matter within the context of the show. They can do whatever. They can do it again. I mean, usually they do. Usually that is a reason they do it. CM Punk and Darby Allin video package. I mean, Kate, it makes sense. Any excuse you can get to put CM Punk on your screen right now, you do. The Milwaukee crowd wasn't screwed out of a CM Punk appearance because this is taped the same day. This is cool, and I think that the Rampage tapings the same night as Dynamite make a lot of sense because you can get in the Orange Cassidy song, you can get in Judas, you can get in. I mean, because he'll come out for commentary. You can get in all this stuff that you want your audience to see: CM Punk and Sting and the Jungle Boy theme and all that stuff and Wild Thing. You can do all these.
Yeah, I really liked this video package. I'm a Punk mark, so I was going to be excited about whatever he was doing off the bat, but there's such a natural story with Darby, and with what they did on Wednesday, like I felt like Punk came in, put over like 6 people, made this feel really important by basically saying, like, Darby is my test to see if I can still go, and that kind of got hijacked by that Daniel Bryan moment, but before that was some really great work to kind of create a feud out of thin air, essentially. But because there's such a natural story, I think that the way that they've been able to juice all of the stuff that Punk has given them with these video packages and the behind the scenes, like they're doing a really, really good job of continuing making that vehicle something that everybody tunes into. And the YouTube views on them are always ridiculous, like always the highest that AEW has done of that. So kudos to them. I thought this was great.
Jeremy, we've got people like Daniel R saying, how good do you think Punk will be in the ring? I talked to people that worked on heels that said, well, I saw him when he left WWE and he's looking as good and even healthier than he was then. I mean, sometimes you need that time off. What are you expecting out of a CM Punk next weekend?
I think Darby's the perfect first opponent for him, right? Because Darby's just going to pump his ass off for CM Punk. Like, Punk can do pretty much anything he wants to Darby, and Darby's going to make his offense look very, very good. And I'm sure Darby's going to bring out some fire in Punk as well. He's obviously very excited to get back in the ring. He's very excited to wrestle Darby. He's not going to come in there and just kind of give like a half-ass thing. So I expect him to look good. Like, how good? Who knows? It's been 7 years. Like, that's a long time off of the ring. And even if you're very, like, we saw Samoa Joe, and Karrion Kross is not Darby Allin, but Samoa Joe looked like he hadn't wrestled in a year and a half. CM Punk hasn't wrestled in 7.5 years. So I'm sure there will be some rust there. They could have chosen a lot worse opponents for him than Darby Allin. I think on the list of like opponents you would want for really anybody, Darby Allin's at the top of that list.
Oh, man. Alicia Ellis says, was I the only one that missed the CM Punk Darby segment? Found out it was a video package and somehow missed it even though I was watching Rampage. It is, I mean, like, I notice a lot of people, they kind of tune some of that stuff out, but they do a lot of good work without putting somebody on TV there. Nico Suave Bergoli says, Jericho kept calling Bunny a crazy chick, and Punk gave his wife a shout-out on Wednesday. AJ Lee is going to be the Joker in the Casino Battle Royal. I'd be shocked, But I'll tell you what, if there is anybody that can talk AJ Lee out of retirement with a promo, it's Britt Baker walking up to CM Punk and saying, it's a good thing somebody in your house decided to come to work for a change. I think, I think she could do it. And it's very clear that household thinks a lot of Britt Baker because AJ Lee's posted on Instagram, this is now a Britt Baker Stan account. And the first time CM Punk has a microphone on a wrestling show in 7.5 years, he talks about Britt Baker. Hell yeah. Some stupid punk says the AEW women's division is a challenge. I want more on TV. I can't think of what I want removed to feature more. They don't have 9 hours like WWE. They've got plenty. I'll tell you. How about the Gun Club versus the Nightmare Factory? That's one I could go without. I think that's one we could have replaced with a Thunder Rosa match for sure. Hobbs and Cage. I'm excited to just watch them slap meat. Oh, I can't wait. I like this because this is a feud that sometimes they got so much stuff going on, Kate, that you kind of forget about. But it makes a lot of sense to put it on the Go Home Rampage, which is not a Go Home anymore because, or the Go Home Dynamite. Dynamite's not a Go Home anymore because you got Rampage. But what do you think about this one?
I'm very excited for this. My only concern is that sometimes I feel like Cage only delivers his best when he's in the ring with someone who is equal to or better than him. Otherwise, I think he can get a little sloppy and things can get a little bit nerve-wracking with him. But I will say that and Hobbs is green, right? We haven't seen a ton of him. He's super young. So, however, when it's that big of a dude, I'm a little less concerned about that. There's just a literal physical thing that's going to keep him from throwing people around like a ragdoll because he's like the biggest ragdoll in the world. So I'm excited to see just a really hard-hitting match, and I'm really excited to see a spine buster from Hobbs on that. That should be really fun.
Main event. So, I wasn't keen on them running
Wait.
What?
Are we skipping segments here, Sean?
Oh, yeah, I guess I did.
You're going to disrespect God's favorite champion?
Okay, so I
like
did.
that?
Well, nobody sent any super chats for it, which is the disrespectful thing.
Agreed.
Nobody
Send your super chats for God's favorite champion.
Nobody sent a single super chat for Miro, so I accidentally overlooked it. And I blame our audience. I blame all you people. Now, fortunately, here's what I'm going to do. I'm coming out here. No more Jeremy Lamberts on this show. I'm blaming him like the McMahons blamed Baron Corbin in December of 2018. No more. I'm going to listen to all you people. You're not going to be dictated by Jeremy Lambert. We're not going to do that anymore. You are the authority on this show, everybody. In a few weeks, we're going to move to a thing where we don't have commercials in the middle of our segments anymore. We're going to turn the lights down for like the last 20 minutes of our show. Jeremy's probably going to come back with a ski mask on and throw 2 cinder blocks through the same window. Pretty soon, Kate's going to fight Denise on like a platform. And like, I think somebody's wiener's getting ripped off. What we're going to do a brand-to-brand invitational. Louis Dangore's going to show up here and kill our ratings. We're going to do a draft. We're going to do a shakeup. We're going to do a lot of things besides make a good show that will get you to tune back in. That's what we're going to do. We're going to hire Eric Bischoff. We're going to fire Eric Bischoff. We're going to hire Paul Heyman, and we're going to fire Paul Heyman. And then we're going to hire Bruce Pritchard. We're going to do all these things to make you enjoy our podcast more without making it a good podcast. That's what I'm willing to do. I think I'm going to make good for this error, Jeremy.
I believe you. I have faith in you, Sean.
You're gonna let it play out.
I'm gonna let it play out.
Complaining is not conversation. I know that for sure. I know that for sure. But we have
something brand supremacy, something. You forgot to merge the rosters and split the rosters. That's the other thing.
Listen, I'm gonna have people come to the Fightful Lightning Dome. That's what we're gonna do.
Pipe in the crowd noise.
We won't be able to hear you. Wyatt Todd says, it feels like the AEW Women's Division tries to build green talent at the expense of interesting angles and blockbuster matches with experienced talent. It really looked like that a few years ago. It looked like a few years ago that they were hiring Brandy and friends, and we saw a lot of that. Like Awesome Kong was not good 3 years before that, and they brought her in, and they did the stuff with Leva, and Allie got brought in, and Brandy was in a prominent position. It wasn't looking promising. Now it's looking a lot more promising, and yeah. So Miro just throws Fuego out and then drags him to the ring and rips his mask off and kicks him in the face and calls out Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston holds the mic up to his face and is like, no, and just goes after him. Lisa says, just for Miro, how dare he unmask Fuego? The nerve, showing love for Jeremy because I can. Jeremy, this was brilliant heel work because everybody loves Fuego and nobody wants to see a luchador lose their mask. And Eddie Kingston doing what he does rocks.
First off, thank you, Lisa. I love that Eddie did not speak, because that promo, whether it's on Dynamite or whether it's on Rampage next week, that promo he cuts on Miro, maybe he cuts face to face with Miro, is going to be absolute fire. And he only needs one. He only needs one, right? He doesn't need to do a pro. There's 3 shows left if you count it tonight. There's 3 shows left. He doesn't need to do one every week. One Eddie Kingston promo with the way Miro's been talking and everything, gonna be absolute fire. I'm already sold the ticket because I love Eddie Kingston. I love Miro, but give me that Eddie Kingston promo. Give it to me. I need the Eddie Kingston promo.
We have a bunch of super chats about this. Chuck Cassis says this is for God and his favorite champion. He's great. I'm so glad that we guilted people into spending money. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, Claude says, this is better than the Taylor Swift profile picture. The Sinbad from Jingle All the Way. Come on now.
Crazy.
This is great. With Miro constantly beating down Fuego, can we see Guevara go after him for the title soon? I would love that feud. That one seems like a natural progression. That one seems really, really natural. Some Stupid Punk says God's favorite champion and the Mad King. And Nikolai says, all hail Miro, unless it's against Eddie. Rise up, Mad King. Kate, I thought this was a fantastic segment. One of those like duh segments. Like, of course they're going to do this.
Totally a duh segment. A few things that I really liked about this. Eddie Kingston is one of my favorites. And one thing he's really good about is knowing when to not speak and when to shut up after a promo. He never, ever runs long on a promo. He says what he needs to say and gets out of there. Or he'll do something like tonight where it's like, nah. I love that. This whole Miro run has made him a star and is going to make a star out of whoever takes the title off of him. Like, what a perfect work. And I'm dying for this feud. I would love to see this go past All Out and go to Arthur Ashe and see Eddie Kingston get a pop for a title feud. Not just because I'm going to be at Arthur Ashe, but also because I'm going to be at Arthur Ashe too. Yeah. I want to see that. Just to see him in a title picture at his hometown. Like, he's already getting these pops on the road. To see that in New York would be great. But the only thing that we haven't really had with Miro has been like an extended feud, because he's mostly just been murdering people, which is great. Like, he should do that. But Eddie Kingston should be him meeting his match a little bit, I think. And I would love to see this get extended past the pay-per-view.
Razor 2910 says, pretty sure All Out's going to be 3+ hours, especially with 10 matches on the main card. Buddy, it's an AEW pay-per-view. It will be 5 hours. I wish it wasn't. I wish they kept it to 3 hours, but they don't do them that often. But I can tell you, I wish it was shorter. As of now, there are 9 matches on the main card. They could have gone without Moxley and Kojima. That could have been on Rampage.
They could have gone without Tall Paul. And
yes,
QT.
that could have been the Rampage card right there. Yeah. Those 2 matches.
They could have gone without who?
Tall Paul and QT. Oh, yeah. Tall Paul. Tall Paul.
Come on, man.
Make it worth it for me, guys. Flow Pro for show says everyone needs an Eddie to have their back on. I wish I did. A bunch of you dickweeds on the internet. Oh, boy. I'd be even more boisterous. Not anybody watching here. You all are beautiful. Alicia says, what matches are you most looking forward to at All Out? I mean, I'm looking forward to CM Punk and Darby Allin the most because I want to see how CM Punk looks. Kate, what's your most anticipated match?
I mean, I'm the biggest Punk mark in the world, so definitely that. But I think Pac and Andrade is one that's kind of been underneath, and I think that's going to be fantastic.
Jeremy, how about you?
The one that got announced tonight, Miro and Eddie Kingston.
There you go. That's a hell of a match. This card is significantly better with that on it.
Yes.
Without a doubt. Cutler and Omega lose to Kaz and Christian. This is the first time Kaz and Christian have ever teamed together, and they spent quite a bit of time together in TNA wrestling. Mike Preventure 2 says, is Cutler the best at this since Damian Mizdow? I would say so. Brandon Cutler has become invaluable to AEW being a crony. And that was the criticism on him, Jeremy, was that he was the Young Bucks crony. So now he's like, hell, let me lean into it. I'll be a crony. His acting was bad before, and it just, like, he's a very likable guy, and he's solid in the ring, but his acting wasn't great. Now it's, like, corny in a fantastically entertaining way. We saw what was going to happen from a mile away here, and this is an okay match, but the crowd didn't seem to care.
No, it was, once it got announced, you knew Cutler was taking this pinfall, right? There was no,
yes.
They weren't trying to rewrite the book with this one here. Cutler, he plays his role. Great. And you need guys like this. You can knock Brandon Cutler all you want. Not everyone can be the main event guy, but you can carve out a nice little role for yourself doing this stuff. You can consistently get on television. You can get yourself over, and that's what Cutler has done. He was a main event of this show with Christian Cage and Kenny Omega and Frankie Kazarian. Pretty nice gig to have.
It is. And Nerd Guru says, I really don't like how we're seeing Kenny and Christian 3 times in a month. That's a WWE type of move, and I hope they axe that trash. Yes, I hope they don't make this the standard. If this were happening a lot more than it was, or even more than it was, I'd have more of an issue. But, Kate, they did keep the Christian Kenny Omega interactions not to a minimum, but to an almost minimum. How are you feeling about that? Because this is a very un-AEW thing to do.
Yeah, so, well, first of all, I'll just say if somebody says in a promo Carney bullshit, which he did for the second time, I pop at that every single time.
I mean, because you use it in your promos, from my experience.
Absolutely, I do. And also Cutler with cold spray, especially when he sprays the belt. I lose it every time. It's my favorite thing. Because we watch a ton of wrestling and not just the AEW product, I do feel like, and we talked about this before, Sean, a couple weeks ago, I am on like rematch burnout, because this isn't an egregious thing to do in the context of AEW. They don't do this a lot. They don't run things back a lot. I just get burned out on rematches because of all the other wrestling I watch, I think. And do I want the rematch? Not really, but like they've done things to try and make that interesting, right? Like there's 2 different titles that have been in play here. So it's not a pointless rematch. And there is a story of Christian saying, hey, I'm getting in your head. He did it tonight and said, I was the first guy to put your shoulders to the mat in like over a year, right? So in a vacuum, it's fine. I just think when you watch so much wrestling, it gets rematch burnout. But also, guys, All Out, there's going to be surprises. Like, sit back and wait. You never know. It's wrestling.
And like part of me hopes that there's a line that only not a few, a lot of people will get it. But Don Callis steals like a Paul Heyman line and tells Christian he's only TNA champion because Kenny Omega doesn't want to work weekends once every 2 months. I would really like that.
I'd pop for that.
Sergio says, AEW posted an off-air clip of Punk and Christian sending the fans off. Do you think they should have kept it on air? No, that's a good thing for the crowd. That's a good digital thing. That would have been almost pandering level use of CM Punk. Milwaukee got him. The TV audience got CM Punk, so it's okay. And Alicia Ellis says, so if the Lucha Brothers lose, I wonder how that will impact the Pac Andrade feud. I mean, that's an additional piece of stakes there, Jeremy. It's that there's this power struggle a little bit.
That's like the only stakes for this Pac Andrade match, because I'm not feeling the build to this one too much. It's going to be a great match. I do think Andrade needs something like the Lucha Brothers to really get that act over, or if they get Rick, like that'll help, because Vicky didn't add much, Chavo ain't added much. He needs something to get him over that top tier there.
Hey, tell the people where they can find you besides here on Fridays now.
Well, you can find me on Tuesdays on Sour Graps with Alex Pulowski. Alex Pulowski.
Alec Pulowski.
You know what it is?
Pulowski.
We're
It's that-
Caleb's now, as you discovered. So.
Yeah, well, you're also hanging out at the bottom of a lake in a lawn chair.
I know.
So there you go.
I'm everywhere. I will be joining for Sour Graps. I'm very excited about that. And then on Wednesdays, you can catch me on the Mark Order podcast, Wednesdays after Dynamite on Facebook and in podcast form. We have a lot of fun over there, so come check that out too.
Jeremy, rest in peace. Our condolences to your friends, your family, and your fans. T's and P's.
Do I get to speak? Do I get to say like final words?
I'm doing your eulogy right now.
Oh, all right.
No, yeah, tell the people what's up.
You can find me in the gym every day getting shots up. I do want to say just sincere moment. Thank you to Sean Ross Sapp for like a little over a year ago, very down on things, not in a good spot. And Sean's like, "Do you want to do the Friday show?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm not doing anything. Just got divorced. Got my Fridays are freed up. We can do the Friday show." So came on here. It's been a lot of fun. I gave maybe the best moment in Fightful history with the Sting reveal. I mean, it's top 5, right? It's got to be top 5.
I'd forgotten about it until this moment. So,
wow! How dare you? How dare you?
Oh Jesus!
It has been a lot of fun. Thank you to Sean for. It's helped the Distraction brand as well. And speaking of Distraction, Thursdays 3 p.m. Eastern on right here YouTube.com/Fightful, folks. 4 p.m. Eastern. Shut up, Joel Pearl. I put you over earlier. 4 p.m. Eastern on the Distraction. I have the biggest thing I've ever delivered. All right? The biggest surprise in Distraction history. I'm not letting the people down with this.
You had Klay Thompson's dad on the show once.
I've got bigger than Klay Thompson's dad. All right? This is going to be the absolute biggest pop in Distraction history. Okay?
Really?
The show starts at 3 p.m. Eastern.
What are you doing?
You actually know what I'm doing, Sean.
Do I?
Yeah. If you don't remember, that's fine. If you don't remember, that's fine. 3 p.m. Eastern, the show starts. 4 p.m. Eastern.
Remember.
Wow.
Sean racking his brain right now.
I can't remember.
I'm not going to say it because.
I mean, no. Tell me. Jeez. Oh man, look at this. Well, you could join their group, Jeremy, as DCease. Get it?
I get it.
Bam! Oh snap! But legitimately, it's been great having you on. Jeremy isn't leaving Fightful, guys.
No,
he's not leaving for Fightful for Wrestling Inc. yet.
No.
So just
he's just getting neck fusion surgery.
He's getting neck fusion.
I'm gonna go be a stepfather. Okay, you guys be champions. I'm gonna go be a stepfather.
Oh my gosh! Oh my.
Well, now we're getting married, Sean, for the rest.
Yeah, we are. Kinshiro says the dab is like a magic spell. You do it, and everyone in the room is annoyed at you. They don't know why, but they are. Well, until next time, guys. We're out.